initial thoughts, a bit disappointed that I sort of not gave up, but just legs weren't there tonight. Hi guys, welcome to the channel. So today I'm going to have a little talk about a time trial I did at the weekend. I did an 8k time trial and struggled. I struggled actually. I bailed out at about 6.5k, so I had about a mile to go. And yeah, I wasn't feeling it. Well, yeah, they're going to be hard, aren't they? Because you're trying to run as fast as you can for the given distance. But yeah, I really struggled at the weekend. It was on the back of a reasonable amount of, active days. So whether that had a play on it or not, but they're mentally really tough, aren't they? Really difficult, because a lot of the time, when you run a PB or a really fast time, say in a race, most of our PB, well, all of our PBs are from races because they're official. But you've got other people, you're normally rested, tapered, you feel good. And that race atmosphere, that adrenaline always gets you going. So when you go out and try and run a hard, or cycle as well, it's the same if you're doing a bike effort. But when you're trying to run a hard distance, whether it's 5k, 3k, 10k, as a time trial and training, it's really difficult to, I kept looking at my watch, thinking, oh, I've run 10k faster than this. This is crap tonight. And then you almost talk yourself out of it. Whereas if that was a race, you'd probably push on a little bit more. But and actually saying that, I would have actually ran. Okay, I'll go through the data in a minute and have a look at it so you can see what I'm on about. But I actually, the minute I stopped early, within 5 seconds, you're saying to yourself, I should have carried on. Why did I bail out? So next time, I'll try and get it finished anyway. And from a coach's point of view, or from a coaching point of view, setting that type of session, it's a good, obviously it's a good physical test, but it's a good mental test as well. Especially where lately we haven't had much racing going on. You get out of that really getting in the hurt locker habit. It's all right doing sessions and intervals and hill reps or stuff on the bike, but that race day where you put it all on the line, you get into in a series of those 5k, 10k's through the summer, or duathlons or whatever you're racing, you get into a feel for it, and it's difficult to replicate that on your own. So from a coaching point of view, it's good you give people that session. You're getting a marker of where they are, or where you think they are, and it gives them that mental challenge as well, which I kind of failed on. I packed it in with before the end, so I was I've never packed it in a race for any reason, but Sunday I just wasn't feeling it. So it was good to get to that point, but it would have been nice just to push on. So it's good, and not necessarily looking at when I was speaking with Dave, most people don't run a 10k PB or the 5 mile 5k PB in a time trial in training. A few do. If you've been not raced for a long time, or your PBs are a bit out of whack, you might run a really good time. But generally, if you're being consistent with your training and you know where you're at and your training zones are about right, you're unlikely to run faster in a time trial solo than you are in a race. So we'll have a look at the data. Right, so just logged into Training Peaks. Should be able to see that on the screen now. So as you can see, like I said before, so it wasn't exactly fully in rested shape. Nothing big in the week before. Some light runs, some light bikes. There wasn't anything crazy. Obviously New Year's, etc. Nothing big there, but certainly not fresh. So obviously loads of peak performances because we're into July. So overall run was 11.6 miles, which was about 80 minutes. And I started off with I did a 15-minute-ish warm-up, so I did a couple of miles, 7:25 pace, nice and light, tried to feel good. Did a handful of strides, so just a little bit, 10 seconds, just open the legs up a bit, just trying to get used to that. And then we started here. You can see where the heart rate shoots up and the pace. At 4:50 minute miling, which is 3 minutes per kilometre pace. So it's too fast for me. It's faster than my 5k PB that. So went off a bit tasty, but you go off hard. It was slightly uphill, running up to an industrial estate. So, and then I settled in and plan was to run 2.5 miles out, or the 4k, turn, and then come back into town. So the turn point was about there, it's about halfway. So I done probably a little bit further than that then, but 2.34 miles, so 3.8k or whatever it is there. So I've averaged 5:28 pace, so it's just around my 10k pace, PB pace. Grade pace 5:26 per mile, which is 5:26, or that 5:28 average pace is 3:23 per kilometre. So like I say, that's just around my 10k PB pace. It's not flat, but it's not hilly. It's a little bit rolling. So I've got to halfway. In a decent time. Being on 10k PB pace is decent, especially when you're solo. And then I've gone to there, and as you can see at this point, I've bailed and I've had enough. So that last bit coming back, I did 10 minutes, and I was down to 5:38 per mile pace, or 5:30 per kilometre pace. So I dropped off a bit. It was one of those. Heart rate actually 175, 176. I've got another 10 beats there, so that just goes to show possibly the legs were a little bit shot anyway, because the heart rate wasn't get up. If I was racing a 10k, especially 5k, 10k towards the end, I'd expect to see that heart rate probably at least 183, 184 for a real hard effort. So effort was in the legs, but they just weren't there. They weren't there. So so I've called it a day. So I've quit, bailed out. I mean, we've still got enough data out of that to, I am about where I thought I would be for that type of effort. So that's good. And rest of the run, just did another easy 40 minutes. So. And just wrapped it up, made it up to 18-minute run. So legs were, feeling alright after that. It's funny, you recover quite quickly. It's not a real long, hilly, hard effort. So moving on, probably repeat that in the coming weeks. Repeat that test, and hopefully, definitely in this time I'll finish it and see where I'm at. But all in all, to start the year, half decent place. Almost running. I probably would have run close to a 5 mile PB if I'd have carried on. It was, right on there. So, that sort of 3:25 per k pace that would have been right up there. Probably would have almost sneaked a 5 mile PB, which is good news. Solo, apart from Darren on the bike, was doing a bit of filming, so it was good. So, if you do them, stick with them. They're difficult, especially on your own. Try and run solidly. you know, and it's more of a mental thing. Stay consistent, keep putting the work in, and yeah, hopefully the next time it's improved. So thanks for checking out the video.